In this video, we're going to talk about the basics of databases, which is all meant to give you a bit of an overview and a preparation for our next application we're going to create that is going to be using a database. So let's start with the absolute basics. What is a database? Well, it's an organized collection of data that you can store that information on a computer or a device. Recipes, business records, contacts, and even your music collection are examples of things that you could put in a database. Now, you saw shared preferences in the previous app, the Flickr browser app. We used that as a mechanism to transfer the search results for the Flickr data from the search screen back to our main screen. That's a very simple example of data storage, but databases can and usually are a lot more complex than that. Now, there's a huge number of available database software out there, as you can imagine. Most applications these days, there's a variety of choices. A large number of vendors, Microsoft, Oracle, IBM. But the good thing about all of these is that they use a standard language to manipulate the data that's in the database. Now, that language is SQL, pronounced SQL, and stands for Structured Query Language. And it's been around for many decades. I think it was in the early 1970s that it was initially first worked on, and it's supported in most database software. Now, learning this language is a skill in its own right, and you can readily transfer those skills to other platforms and software, which is of huge advantage to you. Now, of course, each software package that you use does have its own idiosyncrasies, so it's not like it's going to be 100% applicable, but a lot of the stuff you'll learn can be readily transferred over. And good news, Android uses SQL as well. Now, of course, being a device like a mobile, certain trade-offs have to be made because we haven't got a lot of memory, for example. But on the flip side of the coin, a lot of features that you'd see in sort of web applications such as Google's search queries that are recorded on a machine somewhere, we wouldn't need that level of complexity on an Android device either. So the good news is that we can still use a lot of that functionality with SQL and get that to work with an Android. Now, you're probably freaking out right now if you didn't know this. You're thinking, what do I need to learn another language? Maybe you're just getting on top of Java and feeling confident in that, and now thinking, oh, I need to learn another language. Short answer, yes, you do need to learn another language, but the good thing is you don't need to know as much in that language as you do in, say, Java. In other words, the basics, and I'm going to show you those basics, will be enough for you to do a lot of the things that you need to do to sort of manipulate a database, and you'll be seeing that in the first app we create. Introducing SQLite. Now, this is the database that's used by Android. It's based on the freely available code made by the guys and gals at sqlite.org, SQLite.org. Now, that software has been worked on for many, many years, and it's freely given away. I think they might make their money from support. And there's lots of different operating systems that use it. Android are using it in their software, but I know Mac OS X uses it in its software, and it's literally everywhere. It's very fast, it's very stable, and it's perfect because it's been designed to use only a small amount of memory and have a very small footprint, in other words, and to be very efficient and fast, which of course is perfect on a mobile device. Some of the features of SQLite. It's a cut down version. I implied that on the previous screen. So it's it hasn't got all the features of a full SQL database you see in large systems like Microsoft SQL Server, IBM's DB2, which are two very heavy databases used in sort of mission critical applications. SQLite also isn't multi-user enabled. It's designed for a single user. It's very lightweight, it's fast, but in our case, it's generally perfect for what we need to do on an Android device. Some more information about the Android implementation of SQLite. No installation of the software is required. A lot of other databases you need to sort of pre-install software, and it can get quite complex. What's sort of built in, the Android implementation of SQLite is built in to the Android SDK framework. So Google provides us with libraries that we can use to easily manipulate databases, as well as to create, read, update and delete data in those databases. So it's very useful indeed. Okay, let's do go through some basic terminology just to get up to speed with the very basics of databases. And we're also going to talk in future videos about Android's implementation as well. You're going to see all of this in action once we go through the app. However, it's useful to have a general idea of those terms, so the general terms now. So in the next video, I'm going to do just that. We're going to go over some basic terminology, explaining what things like tables and fields, records, record sets, what they are and why they are important. So see you in the next video.